Hey everyone, so obviously content warning here.
Content warning. I'm going to be replying to Riley Dennis. I'm a little bit late to this topic, but that's because I wanted to see all the evidence that was presented before I gave my opinion on this.
We're going to be talking about sexual assault and rape allegations, so if you don't want to or can't hear about that stuff right now, feel free to click away. I know this stuff can be very triggering, especially for survivors, so it's okay if you don't watch this video.
I am so sick of the content warning stuff. That's why I made a joke about it at the beginning of the video. If you are so emotionally unstable that even hearing about a national issue on a YouTube video sets you off, then you need to see a doctor and get some help. Either that, or you are the eternal victim, someone who needs a constant reminder that they're helpless, like they envision their life as some fucking Lifetime movie.
That being said, I do think it's really important to talk about this stuff and to voice our support for survivors, which is why I'm making this video. For a while, I had no idea what I could add to this conversation or how I could make a video on this topic.
How about a well-informed, educated one? But we know where this is going with you, Riley. The predictable NPC that you are.
Because it seems very obvious to me that we should believe Brett Kavanaugh's accusers and not appoint him to the Supreme Court.
Ah, I knew it. NPC canned dialogue. Oh, this is gonna be fun.
End of story. Like, that doesn't take several minutes to explain. His accusers' accounts are highly credible.
Only their stories weren't credible. But we'll cover that later in the video. I'll let you continue.
At this point, when I'm recording this, 5 different women have come forward.
The number that you cited there went down to 3. One of the 5 you mentioned had strong evidence that it was a 4chan troll. Now, I don't know if that's true or not, I'm not going to make that claim, but Avenatti shut down his Twitter for a short time after that was revealed. This is why I'm calling you an NPC. You made a canned response from unsubstantiated media claims. It's what NPCs do.
Though that may have changed by the time this video goes live. The Me Too movement has been happening for long enough that folks should know by now to believe survivors. So what else is there to say? I'm not really sure there is much. I could tell you about some of the misconceptions surrounding these specific allegations and tell you exactly what he's being accused of and why that should disqualify him from the Supreme Court.
You wanted this to be true, Riley, for political reasons. You're an ideological leftist, a social Marxist, and anything that Trump does in your little programmed mind is bad. Orange man bad. Orange man bad.
But that information is out there in droves. I try to make videos about topics like these educational and informational and sum up everything you need to know about this topic. But this time, more Kavanaugh accusers are coming forward every day.
No, they didn't. In fact, many more women came forward to vouch for Kavanaugh's character. If we are to believe women, which ones do we believe, Riley? Does it depend on the situation or the circumstance? Like, for instance, in this case, a political one?
Senate Republicans keep finding new ways to be shitty. By the time this video goes up, things could have changed a lot.
And boy, did they.
So I don't think I have anything to add there, but I think the reason I want to make this video and the main point of this video isn't necessarily to tell you everything about the Kavanaugh situation. It's just to voice my support for survivors. Right now, it sure seems like there's a lot stacked against sexual assault survivors. Republicans are telling them that they're never to be believed.
The Republicans never once stated that during any of the course of the Kavanaugh hearings. They wanted evidence. A reasonable request, in my opinion.
Tons of people are supporting those Republicans. Potentially triggering stories are being shared like wildfire across social media. All of that fucking sucks. So I just want to be one more voice saying that I believe and support survivors of sexual abuse, harassment, and assault, and you should too.
I do believe survivors. When enough evidence has been shown for me to turn to the accused and go, okay, it's time to defend yourself. Like how a normal society should function. Not a society ruled by mob hunts and witch trials.
I know that my voice is just a drop in the ocean here, but I think we need as many people as we can speaking up and insisting that we believe survivors. And I think that if I really believe that, I also need to say something with whatever platform I have. So, I believe Dr. Blasey Ford.
Who couldn't remember when the event happened, or where it happened, not sure of the house or the street, not even the month or the day, from her own testimony. But she 100% knew it was Kavanaugh. Even her own witnesses stated the party that she claimed happened didn't happen. There is a shit ton of evidence not to believe Dr. Ford?
I believe Deborah Ramirez.
The one who claimed to see a drunken Kavanaugh's penis at a frat party? Nothing really further came from that.
I believe Julia Swetnick.
Oh, and believing her was a bad idea. She turned out to be completely uncredible and just a little bit crazy. Just a little.
And I believe the other women accusing Kavanaugh of sexual assault.
What other women have come forward?
I believe survivors. It's clear from these accusations that Kavanaugh has a history of assaulting women. These women have no reason to come forward and put their well-being in danger if he did nothing to them.
Here comes the money.
Here we go. Money talk.
Here comes the money. Money, money, money.
Dollar, dollar. Dollar, dollar.
Dr. Blasey Ford has already had to move to stay safe from death threats after coming forward. His accusers even have the President of the United States against them. I wouldn't wish that on anybody. Nobody would do that and put themselves in that situation if they didn't have a really good reason.
Money. A lot of it. Also, her ties to the Democrats. Also, Kavanaugh's mom was a judge at Ford's parents' foreclosure.
And that reason is that they don't want a man who sexually assaulted or attempted to sexually assault them sitting on the Supreme Court. Their accounts are credible and follow patterns that align with other sexual assault survivors.
Dr. Ford is a professor in psychology. It's obvious that she holds a doctorate with that title and understands the human psyche better than a vast majority of Americans. She's probably helped treat survivors in her past. More importantly, she knows the psychology of a survivor, and with enough coaching, one can act. Acting is just a clever way of lying. Good actors understand the psyche of their character.
To dismiss them outright is to say that you don't care about survivors and that all you care about is putting Kavanaugh on the Supreme Court, which is what Republicans are doing right now.
If Dr. Ford's claims were dismissed outright, we wouldn't be having this conversation right now. It wouldn't be national news. Her claims were not dismissed outright. She has been heard.
It's hard to describe this in any other way than sickening. Republicans want to vote on confirming Kavanaugh before hearing all these women out. Republicans don't care what his accusers have to say. That's scary. He's not even being put on trial for his actions. He's just losing a chance at an extremely powerful job.
A job, mind you, that is based on hearing evidence and making a decision after both sides have had a chance to present their story. You, on the other hand, are advocating believing somebody's claim based solely on their word and not the other party. To me, that is scary as hell.
People get denied jobs for all sorts of lesser reasons. He should absolutely be disqualified for having these accusations against him. Even if he doesn't make it on the Supreme Court, he's still a judge with a lot of influence and power. I just can't believe this is even a discussion we're having. And to see so many women come forward and say that what Kavanaugh did wasn't even that bad is so saddening.
How dare those women disagree with us? The left are the real defenders of womanhood. Am I right?
Because they've internalized the idea that men sexually harassing and abusing them is normal. It shouldn't be. We should hold men to a higher standard. It isn't just boys being boys when they're derailing women's lives.
But the women who could potentially derail men's lives with their possible false accusations that could most likely rise under your philosophy of believing only survivors' claims, well, fuck them, right?
Men like Kavanaugh are somehow allowed to move on from this stuff and obtain positions of power, while the women they've abused have to live with that forever. Lots of folks have been saying that Kavanaugh's accusers weren't assaulted because they didn't report at the time, but there are a plethora of reasons why someone might not report. Go on Twitter and read through the Why I Didn't Report tag, and you'll see so many people who have stories about why they didn't report the rapist or abuser. It's not uncommon.
I actually have a whole board of reasons right here, so let's go over a couple examples. Because I didn't want to ruin the future of another black man? Holy shit. That sounds like somebody who has been just indoctrinated by leftist intersectional ideology. Holy crap, that sounds like you guys are the problem with that person right there. Because I needed my job and I didn't know who to go to. That sounds like you prostituted yourself, though. I mean, I could be wrong. I'm fully open to, being wrong, but I'm just going by how you presented your side on this board. It sounds like you prostituted yourself for a job. That's not sexual assault. Sorry. But a constant theme you will see on this board is, I didn't want people to think it was my fault. Maybe that's what feminism needs to work on. Not chastising men or promoting misandry, but empowering women and making them stronger emotionally and mentally. Which comes full circle as to why I hate those stupid content warning intros. Stop making people eternal victims.
I don't know what's going to happen with Kavanaugh. Right now, it seems likely that Republicans are going to confirm him for the Supreme Court regardless of the allegations.
He was indeed confirmed, after the allegations were determined to be unsubstantiated.
But if we continue to speak out and support survivors, maybe we can convince them not to. There are a few senators who could be swayed, so please call your senators and urge them not to confirm Kavanaugh.
That worked out well for you, didn't it? Kavanaugh even had a Democrat vote to confirm him, making his confirmation bipartisan.
It would just be such an insult to survivors everywhere if this man were to be appointed to the Supreme Court.
Well, it's been about 2 weeks. Survivors aren't in mass hysteria of uncontrollable grief. Seems like the world has just kept on spinning since Kavanaugh's been confirmed. It's just another loss in a long streak for the left.
But, I don't know, maybe I'm preaching to the choir here. Maybe everyone has already picked their sides in this. I don't know how productive this video will actually be, but I had to say something. It's hard to sit back and watch this happen without saying anything. Please, if you're on the fence about this issue at all, try to have compassion for these women.
I absolutely do, when their claims are credible.
They have gone through and continue to go through so much, and they need our support right now. Think about what you would do in their shoes. Think about the support you would want. Believe them and believe all survivors, even if they're your friends. He's a nice guy to me isn't a solid defense because people can be nice to one person and rape another.
Want to know how to deter an attack? Learn self-defense. Or better yet, buy a gun.
Rapists aren't always the creepy, friendless person in the bushes. Often they're very charismatic, well-liked people who use their social power to silence the people they abuse.
You mean male feminists like Matt Hickey, who used a fake porn agency to take advantage of young girls? Or like Robert, and I'm going to butcher this last name, but I don't care, Marmogello, who was a volunteer at Crash Override, a Zoe Quinn-partnered anti-harassment Twitter page? Or how about Christopher Goldberg, who... Ew, that is fucking gross. These are the male feminists you ally yourself with. These are the people you call yourself allies. They seem to be the bigger problem than the Republicans, in my opinion.
I believe Dr. Blasey Ford and the other accusers. I believe all survivors. I hope you do too. Thanks for watching, everyone, and I'll see you next time.
And that was NPC R1L3Y signing off. The thing I find most amusing is R1L3Y, that's just what I'm going to call you now, is that you were editing this video on the day before the confirmation, which means you knew all about the lack of accusers coming forward after the whole Avenatti Twitter fiasco. You saw Ford's testimony and how much of a horse and pony show that was, yet you still put this video out declaring that we must believe survivors no matter what? It's no wonder this video has a 4-to-1 dislike ratio. It's nothing but repeated bullshit from the leftist media that is so desperate to win.